What's good, everybody? You know what time it is. Your boy Jeffrey L. Boney here, and you're looking at another edition of Trending Tuesday. So excited to have you. Happy New Year, everybody. Our last visited with you. Yeah, give it up, everybody. We got everybody in the live studio audience in the building. Y'all make some noise. I know Chef Eddie is in the back getting everything ready for all those edible treats in the back, and my favorite, I got to get that wine, that he always has on deck for me. But nonetheless, so excited to be with you guys on yet another Trending Tuesdays. Have some exciting guests, and we're gonna have a great conversation on today. 6 days from now, your president, your newly elected president, will be inaugurated. Notice I said your. President, President Donald J. Trump will begin his second and final term as President of the United States. Hopefully there's no shenanigans that take place where they try to change the Constitution to allow him to serve with perpetuity, that's what I was trying to say, forever, for eternity. I know that he would like that. I know on the campaign trail, he said he was speaking to a Christian group, and he told them, he said, if you vote for me and get me reelected, you'll never have to worry about voting ever again. He was talking about himself. He wants to be like Putin, Russian president, where he will never not be the president until he's no longer capable to, or he's no longer alive. And so, he wants to be a dictator, and we all know that. But, thankfully, we've seen this movie before. We've been through this. Well, they say this is not our first rodeo. And so we definitely know what to expect and, basically what's on the horizon based off of what we've been talking about, especially on this show. But anyway, we'll get into a little bit of that, especially some of the things that he's proposing. We have some people here that can talk about some of the things that are probably important to many of our viewers and many of the people that some of his laws, proposed laws that are on the horizon, as well as some of his executive decisions, how they'll impact citizens in the United States, or those that may not currently be citizens. But joining me today, I have two guests. I have first Ms. Helen Daniel Holman. She is attorney, partner, founder, Daniel Williams and Associates law firm. Let's give her a round of applause, everyone. And we also have joining us Ms. Nicole Odom Hardnett, and she is the president, CEO of Focus Point Solutions and Focus Point Behavioral Health, and she's also an author. Let's give her a round of applause. All right, we're going to jump right into the conversation. So welcome. Thank you for joining us on Trending Tuesdays. So your president will be inaugurated on January the 20th. Thoughts on a second Trump presidency?
It's absolutely nothing we can do about it. It's here. It's not going to change. Am I thrilled? Not really, but it is what it is.
Helen.
So I think for us, this will be our second time having him in office, and our goal is just to stay on brand and stay anchored. We play the role of anchor counsel and advisement for our clients. They seek us to be the constant, and we've traveled these waters before, we've navigated this before, and we intend to continue to strategize and come up with solutions that fit exactly what our clients' needs are.
You know, one of the things that I know that has been a heavy point of conversation is the proposed idea that they were going to have these roundups and do mass deportation of individuals that are deemed to be here illegally. And they were talking about spending millions and investing millions and millions of dollars for this effort. So I know that, Helen, you deal with immigration, you and your firm, and you know, I know that this is not something, I think every time we hear immigration, we always think about the Hispanic community. We think about Latinos. But there are more than just Latinos that are immigrants to this country or that have come here to this country that are not legal citizens as of yet. That could be that are sure to be impacted by some of these decisions. There are those from Haiti and those from Africa and various other countries as far as the African diaspora is concerned, as well as other countries. And so there has to be some level of fear amongst the immigrant community. Thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. Anxieties are high right now, as you can expect. And I think that, like you said, the mass deportation, because we're a border state, it does impact the Latino community a lot, but I think that other nationalities are being pulled in because the scrutiny is getting so much higher and these mass deportation acts are out. So because we represent many groups of people, our phones are ringing, people are anxious, they want to tie up loose ends or get their respective houses in order as far as documentation. And so we are, in order to meet that need, we're working extra hours, we're working evenings, we're working weekends, but our phones are really heavy right now with that concern. And it's not just the Latino community. We've got clients from, like you said, Africa, Sudan, Morocco, China. We've got a lot of students and business professionals as clients, so they are calling.
Yeah, and I know you deal with, Nicole, the behavioral aspect, the mental aspect of things, and a lot of this can weigh on the psyche. It can weigh on you emotionally as well as what you're dealing with. And I can only imagine that having, because, I mean, I don't know the processes, and we'll come back to you, Helen, about the processes as to why it takes so long to become a citizen, I guess. And then I'm sure that there has to be some dynamics as to how you got here in the first place and some of those things. So, you know, I don't know if you've dealt with anyone who is an immigrant or dealing with immigration issues.
We do have a few immigrants in some of my locations. It's going to affect everybody. If it's not you, it's going to be a friend or a family member. So it's sometime or another, there's, of course, going to be some anxiety, some sort of mental health situation behind this because the details are really unclear. Me personally, I've been watching some news briefs and where they'll have people who may own restaurants and they're from Haiti. And, you know, they're worried about this. They have been in this country for decades, and now they're going to it's a big possibility for them to be uprooted. And I just think that there's so much more that we can really concentrate on. And I get the whole, you know, if there's someone that is wreaking havoc and they're kidnapping and murdering, I get, you know, the deportation for those individuals. But people who are hardworking taxpayers in this country, leave them alone.
Well, I mean, let's talk about I mean, because they are even going as far as, and I saw Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, who talked about kind of ramping up things even himself and joining forces with the incoming Trump administration with immigration detention. And I can only think back on how those young children at the border were being separated from their families, and they were put in these cages and treated like animals in a sense. And so it's really kind of a tragic thought to think that this could be our current reality.
Exactly. It's very sad. And as I said, there are more things in this world that we can concentrate on than deportation.
I think what you all are describing is just the difference between violent offenders versus nonviolent offenders. And so for violent offenders, I think that the urgency should remain high. And I also think that whatever administration's advisement is how USCIS and how immigration is run. And so the laws don't necessarily have to change if the advisement and the culture that's created by the administration, in this case Trump, is to deport or to heavily detain people who are nonviolent offenders. And so I think that's what you're looking at when people say just leave, families alone or support family unity. We've also practiced under presidents who were in support of family unity, and the human element was there. And so those children that you were talking about were taken care of under programs like DACA and TPS, which is Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and that focused on children who had no choice in coming. They came as kids, they grew up here, lived here, and acted, pretty much as close to citizens as you would think, and then they would be removed when they became of age. Well, under Biden and Obama's administration, they put things in place so that children like that who did not make the decision to be here were protected, and they were able to be supported through family unity. And
Yeah, well, I mean, I just think about how the, Trump scare tactics with the verbiage and the rhetoric and things. And at the end of the day, for me, I don't think it has anything to do with just trying to protect the borders. I think it's more, in my opinion, about protecting the influx of non-European individuals in this country, because at the end of the day, I want to say there was a report out that said that by 2045 that Caucasians would no longer be the majority in this country. So there is a continuum of course, with a lack of procreation amongst whites, and them getting older and dying off. There's a fear, I feel, of losing control of this country and the power, because it's all about money and the power, right? So I think that this influx of mass deportations, to me, it's kind of the mass incarceration 2.0, in a sense that you're using now an ability to get rid of a people. With black people back in the day, the crack epidemic, they put all of our family members, whether you were a distributor or whether you were a user, in jail for periods of time, disrupting families. And I feel like there's an attempt to just try to maintain control.
All right.
Your thoughts on that?
I completely agree with that. I don't know what year all of this is going to take place, but I truly agree that it's a control mechanism. And what I see since Trump was in the office the first time versus, I'm sure now it'll be the same way, is that our other counterparts, they're more vocal when he's in office. I noticed the difference between Biden being in office and Trump being in office. You have a lot more racism going on. Mm-hmm. And it's like our ethnicities are taking a back seat, or expected to take a back seat, because now that this white power thing is going on. And I have always said I believe that there are backdoor meetings to wipe out our race. Yeah. That's just been my belief, because they are much more vocal than they have ever been when he's been in office.
Shifting gears just a tad, I think about conversations we've had here on Trending Tuesdays, and I've had overall, and of course for those that may not know, I'm the editor of the oldest African American newspaper here in the southern region, the Forward Times, and pretty much every week we write stories, and I wrote continuously and included content in our publication about the Project 2025 and various other things, and in having conversations with many of the African American community members that were supportive of voting for Donald Trump, their main thing was the economy, and they were talking about, man, especially a lot of entrepreneurs, man, I made a lot of money under Trump, or I make money under Republicans. And this, to me, is not about Republican and Democrat, but the psyche that we have that somehow, some way, that based off of a party affiliation, that, it's all about my pocketbook. It's about the money that I make. And I know you deal with a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners as far as, representation law and things of that nature. But where's the balance? Where's the balance where, we look at the humanity, issues and decisions that are made that impact the whole of our culture and our community versus you coming up on saving money on your taxes. And I'm not saying that that's not important, because it's definitely important to me, but I'm saying that, to what cost?
I think that anybody who's focused solely there is they're not taking the community approach, they're not taking the more selfless approach, and so they're looking inward instead of trying to have a balanced view of it. You all were talking just a minute ago about basically the eradication of a race, or eroding the race, and I think that you mentioned a back door, and what we see a lot of times on our employment docket is that the playing field starts not being level in the employment setting, so in the workplace, and that starts with pay inequity. It starts with disparate treatment and other subtle ways, and companies are becoming so much more knowledgeable about how to discriminate without being caught. And so a lot of the work that we do on that employment docket really addresses that, or we educate both our individual clients as well as our business clients on how not to fall into that. Or if it's an individual client, we teach them how to identify that. But Equal Pay Act is discussed a lot, pay equity, diversity, and inclusion, because if you can cause differentiation, or if you can have somebody treated disparately regarding their pay, then everything else will follow, because they won't have the same resources, or the playing field is not leveled there.
I always like to give the viewers an opportunity to kind of find. I don't like to just ask questions and people not know exactly who's making these outstanding responses and answering these questions. So, Nicole, talk about Focus Point Solutions and Focus Point Behavioral Health. First of all, what are those businesses, and what made you jump into that arena?
So before we get into that, I have to stop you. You got to give me my props. I'm Dr.
Oh, excuse me, Doctor.
I worked hard for that.
All right, Dr. Nicole. Dr. Nicole, all right.
But no, Focus Point Solutions is the parent name of the company. Focus Point Behavioral Health is how I operate. And Focus Point owns 5 locations in Maryland, 1 location in Delaware, and 1 in Tomball, Texas. We see our clients for mental health, substance use, DUI, DWI, employment services, supportive employment, medication-assisted treatment, and medication management, and a few other programs that have just come aboard. I work with all the prison systems in Maryland, detention centers in Maryland, and I do plan on bringing the same to Texas. So we just a full service organization.
Well, Dr. Nicole, tell me what made you want to pursue this arena? Why pursue this, endeavor?
I really didn't set out to own anything such as this. I really think it was a calling on me. I've been working with this population for a very long time, for other individuals, and I did actually know at some point that I was not cut out to work for someone else. I worked more hours than anyone else in any other organization. I tried to get to know the whole company and everyone's position, what they were doing, whatever they were responsible for. And I was just led to this, so it was definitely a calling.
Mm-hmm.
What I do is extremely fulfilling.
Wonderful. And Dr. Helen, or what I need, I don't want to get it right before I continue. Now, I don't want to get called out, but.
So you had it right. I'm attorney Helen Daniel Holman, and myself, along with my law partner who's over there in the audience, Catherine Williams, we founded Daniel Williams and Associates, also known as DWA, back in 2009. So I think last year, 24, made our 16th year of practice, and we are a women-owned, women-operated boutique law firm, and we have offices here in Houston, but we also have offices throughout Louisiana. And so we serve a niche market because we are multi-jurisdictional, but more than that, we recently moved back into the community. We purchased a campus and we moved our office back into the community that we serve, and that was important to us because a big part of what we do and a big part of our mission is really making sure that high quality legal services are available for other small businesses, mid-sized businesses, but the community at large.
Mm-hmm. So, most time, people that graduate from law school, they want to go work for the Fulbright and Jaworskis and all of these, larger firms. Why did you decide, or you all decide, to launch out and do your own boutique firm?
If I'm being completely transparent, we had that idea, of going big law over small law, and we tried our hand at it. But I think just a series of events of seeing how women and minorities, which, we're the double minority, even in a law firm, the justice or the equity is not there. And so after some experience with that, we decided to hang out our shingles so that we could treat our clients, with what they deserve.
I've become a big fan of lawyers here of late. I put off for many years watching this show Suits, but I just got through watching the whole thing, finally. And I was, at first when I started it, and I was like, what, I don't know, but it just caught on with me, and I was just like, I didn't even know it went down like that. I didn't know y'all lawyers was like that, so. I'm like, geez, y'all kind of ruthless, y'all like the real gangsters, legally. But anyway, thank you so much for sharing your story. So going back to you, so you say you deal with individuals, it's like a wide array of things. You say
Correct.
Mental health, and then DWI, DUI, I mean.
And substance use.
Substance use, so what does that all entail? People are referred to you that are like coming out of the prison system primarily, or?
It's all of the above. So we actually have contracts, or we want an RFP for the prison system. So we work in the prison system, detention centers. So those who are coming home, usually, sometimes they can't go back to family. So we need to help them with whatever they need. They may have had an addictions issue or mental health issue prior to going in. Or of course, when you're in, you're gonna have PTSD. That's like number one. So we make sure that we work with them to find the resources that they need. Maybe they may need a GED, maybe they need employment or whatever have you, along with the treatment services for whatever illness they may have, whether it's substance abuse or mental health. I call myself a full service because we can help you from you coming in at your lowest point, and we bring you up to a fully functional citizen. So if you want to get a job or if you're going back to school, we can help you with all of those things.
All right, well, we're going to take a break real quick and come back. Let's give it up for our guests right now, y'all. And we're going to definitely come back. We're going to turn it over to, we're here at the K. Davis Showroom Plus over here in Sunnyside, Houston, Texas. And of course, we have none other than Danette Davis, and this is the KDITC and the community event. So let's turn it over to her and hear what she has to say and who she's with today.
Whoop, 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 whoop. 2025, we're here. Yes, you are in the K. Davis showroom. And since you are, I mean, this is not what this break is about, but since you are, and I'm sitting on these chairs that we sell and all of the things you see around and the beautiful art that you see every time you come by, we just want to thank all of the audience and our guests who've been here. You guys were what, 13 shows in?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay, Jeff, our fantastic host. I think it's 2025, right? So the Texans are what? Wild card. I mean, they thought it was one and done. Am I right? But we're still playing. So we ought to be excited about that, right? Whoop, 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 or whatever. So I want to introduce someone to you. Whatever, Ms. Buki, come on up.
Hey, how you guys doing?
If anybody that knows me, you know that, for a long time, theater was, part of what we do. We don't just do in the community. We did some theater and things like that. This young lady was a partner of mine. She's a writer. She's a comedian. And she has a lot to say about 2025. I just thought since she joined us and walked in today, I wanted her to, kind of give you her thoughts. I mean, if you watch her on Facebook, she's got a thought every day about what's going on with your new president and business for the year and all of that. And I just grabbed it and told her, I'd just like for her to say a few words. A lot of times in this spot, we'll have the musician, or we'll have our artist, or what have you, and they'll talk about their work and the kind of thing. But this is a form of art as well.
Okay.
Comedian is hard work, right?
Okay.
Ask
Okay.
Jeff, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Ms. Buki.
All right. I'm so glad she brought me up. I'm like, she wants to know what am I going to do in 2025. I am going to take my leading from Michelle Obama. If it don't serve me, I'm not coming. That's I'm not coming. I'm gonna be in Hawaii. I'm gonna take a break. I'm not coming to everything, and I'm not gonna try to pretend to smile with people that I don't want to smile at. If you didn't talk behind my back, you're not gonna see my face. See, we're gonna take our cues from her. All the black women, we taking a break. We're not saving anything. We just saving ourselves. So that's my cue in 2025. I'm gonna save myself. I'm gonna take some time off, and I'm not gonna let the people that were playing in my face play in my face. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what
You're gonna be like Obama, who we thought was out, doing all of the water sports and all those things when we knew he was really paying attention and worried about this nation. You're gonna, be that person, right?
Yeah. Hey, if they choose to do whatever they want with the country, I'm gonna be all right. My people gonna be all right. That's what I've decided in my mind. I'm gonna be all right. I don't know how it's gonna go down, but we gonna be all right. If we on a ship, if they want the ship to sink, we can swim. Some of us can swim. I can swim, so I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right. We learned how to swim.
That everybody can't swim. Somebody told me you did some poetry at your birthday party.
I did do some poetry.
The poetry
at my birthday. You got look. That's how you're gonna swim. You need to do more than one talent. You need to have more than one job. You need to have multiple sources of income from multiple different areas. You can't stay in the same area. If you're gonna have a house, you need to have a house in different parts of the country just in case. And if you're gonna have a house, it needs to be made from concrete. We building concrete homes now. I'm just saying we got to do things differently now. That's all. That's what I got to say to survive 2025.
At least a float, maybe.
Yes.
Or be.
You need a flotation device. You need to come up with something. They got that new weave that floats. So ladies, invest in that new weave that float, just in case for 2025. We have to be we have to be smarter than they. We got to be smarter so they don't know what we doing. Got to be like the Underground Railroad. We gotta have another new Underground Railroad so they don't know what we trying to do. Because when they know what we trying to do, then they want to step in front of it.
2025.
Calling it DEI. Why don't people just mind their own business? Leave us alone.
Right.
They didn't used to be concerned what we would do, where we would go, what we would do. Now that everybody concerned. Where y'all going? What y'all doing? Oh, it's only black people? Oh no, what about us? I have an organization, right, that I have, and it's mostly, sisters, Houston Sister Socials, which that's another code word for us. But now white people want to join and don't understand why we're not wanting them to join. They want to come to the cookout. I don't understand. They used to want to come to the cookout. Now we going to be sued if we don't let them come to the cookout because everybody got to come to the cookout.
Reverse discrimination.
Yes, they don't want to. They don't want us at their cookout, and we don't want to be at their cookout because the food is not seasoned. But they done figured out that our food is seasoned, and they want to come to our cookout now. And we can't have our own cookout because they're against DEI. So soon it's going to be hard for people to go to a historical black college because all the white kids are going to want to go. This is what we're facing in 2025.
The same, right?
Huh?
I said then it won't be the same. But
it won't be the same. They already joined in the sororities and fraternities. They already got our rhythm. They already got the song. They singing like us. You never know. We can't join them. No. Only certain of us can join them, So, but they want to join us. They want everybody to be just like them. We don't want to be like them. We want to be different. So that's 2025. It's a lot of you got to look at things differently. You got to be able to maneuver differently in 2025.
Well, Miss Spooky, so you're not gonna do your poem. I mean,
I guess you want me to do it?
Somebody told me they were there and they heard it, and I just
I'm gonna do my poem, y'all. I let me tell you, some people when you come around them, they call you up and call you up to the next level. You gotta be ready at all times.
That's right.
So let me do my poem. My name is growing up, I was teased. I was called Buki Kabuki. Shaka Zulu. I even had a teacher tell me, Buki, what kind of name is Buki? But Ridgemont Elementary did not make me. Kristen McCullough Middle could not break me. By the time I got to Willow Ridge High School, Mr. Lynch, the history teacher, told me to take them back to Africa, like the Sankofa. Going back, getting that eagle pride, because I am Ibukwana Omogbajimo Blanchette Nala Rochibokon. You can call me Buki. I come from the ghetto part of Wakanda. They call that Nigeria. The most educated minority in America, Nigerians. 1 in 5 black people in the world, Nigerians. And the vibranium is from our hearts and souls and our minds. Hey. And did I tell you we are the makers of the best jollof rice? That's right. And Kyle, boy, that is how are you and Yoruba. And anytime you get a group of Nigerians together, there's always that extra group, that bougie group with the finest men and women you would have ever seen in your life. Those are the Yorubas. Those are my tribe. You see, my father was like Hakeem from Coming to America, straight out of Ondo State from the village of Okitipuka. He met my mother, that black American princess, because she stirred his intellect as well as his loins, right? They got together and put their hearts and souls into their children, so their treasures were not in earthly vessels, but in the lives that they taught and they trained. So we have doctors, engineers, and nurses. Oh my! And then they had me, right? The definition of the American dream. If I was on a plate, if I was on a plate, it would be culture on the dish. You would have jollof rice and mac and cheese. You would have goat meat and fried chicken, and a side of plantains dodo with some sweet potato pie. All of that washed down with some orange Fanta and some sweet red Kool-Aid, y'all. And that is me. Ibukwana Omogbachima Blanchette Nala Rojimokan. You call me Buki. Thank you.
All right, Miss Buki. All right. One of the things I think that we're about to go back so the host and the guests can finish what they were talking about. And when they come back, we are K. Davis in the community, and we want them to take us. One of the reasons with this series, these women today, and there'll be some men along the way as well. The series is a quarterly series, Business in the Community, The View from the Top. These people are also in the community. And there's some things I think that both of them, when we talked to Attorney Daniel, and when she talked about why she intentionally built her office in Third Ward on purpose and things like that, or how Nicole talks about her mentorship. So I'm just, when they come back, just so that you truly understand what you're listening to and who you're listening to, I'm asking them to share those things as our host takes us on his journey through to the end. So enjoy.
All right, we're back, y'all. Let's give it up. All right, we got a live studio. Let's make it up. Make some noise. Make some noise. That's what I'm talking about, man. It is 2025, and we made it, y'all. We're here. And we have some outstanding guests joining us today. So appreciate Danette Davis and what she does with K. Davis in the community. We're here at the K. Davis Showroom Plus, right here in the heart of Sunnyside, Houston, Texas. And she could have built this anywhere, but she decided to invest in this community and has done a whole lot in the community. Matter of fact, recently in a recent edition of the Forward Times, we highlighted a lot of the work that she did at one of the local some of the local schools during the Christmas break and holidays, giving back to the community, giving to those needy children. And so, we need that. We definitely need that in the community. It can't just be selfish and about ourselves and just us going home and sleeping great and living good and doing everything that we do. We have to give to those that may not have the same opportunities and the same blessings that we have. Joining me here as guests today on Trending Tuesdays in the second half of our conversation, once again, is Helen Daniel Holman. She is attorney partner, founder, Daniel Williams and Associates Law Firm. And we have Ms. Dr. Nicole Odom Hardnett, President, CEO of Focus Point Solutions and Focus Point Behavioral Health, as well as an author, and we'll get into her book and all that kind of stuff as well. But one of the things that Danette asked about or talked about was you all's not only view from the top as respective founders, partners, CEOs of your businesses, but also as people who invest in the community and do things in the community. So she talked about mentorship. Let's talk about some of the things you do from a mentorship perspective in a community.
So for the last 3 years here in Texas, I've been working with Enterprising Women and their Young Enterprising Women program. This Friday actually is my next date for mentorship. We have close to 200 young ladies, and we'll be working with the A-Leaf school. I guess it's the district here. I'm trying to get abreast of everything that's going on here in Texas. It's a lot to take in. So what it is we have several, they focus on STEM. And so there will be several women that will come out that are either entrepreneurs, they're maybe high-ranking executives in their companies, or so forth and so on. The young ladies receive financial literacy. We have a panel discussion, and we have a breakout session where usually the ladies who are the mentors, they will have a small group, and we can rotate. And or the young ladies can pick which mentor speaks to them best in their career choices. And we have lunch, we have breakfast, and this year the schools will actually bust in to their, community center with A-Leaf. And so this one is the biggest one yet that I've been involved in.
Awesome. You're working with Councilwoman Thomas, Tiffany Thomas. Definitely need to connect with her. She's very active, and she is the representative for that community. So definitely we'll make sure to make the connection if you haven't already. Okay. So what about you, Ms. Holman, Attorney Holman?
Thank you. Absolutely. So I think for us, our biggest part of giving back to the community, our focus really is on the small businesses within the community. And for those of you who don't know, we're located at 2201 Herman Drive, which is directly across the street from Herman Park Golf Course. And so it's a unique location because it's very convenient to get to downtown, and that serves the legal purpose. But we also are a few blocks away from the medical center and just maybe one walking block away from the museum district. But we're still at the heart of Third Ward. We're right off of Almeda at Herman, if you know where that is.
Absolutely.
And so the reason that I say the location is the biggest part, because a lot of the small businesses are up and down that strip. And part of our mission, like I mentioned earlier, is to provide and have access available, high quality legal services. And that's what we do. We really anchor the small businesses. We support them. We help them with formation. We help them avoid common pitfalls. And in order to really have economic development work well, you must have access to good legal service and good legal representation. It can change the dynamic. It can level a lot of things. But we do a lot of education through that of our small business owners. And we also protect them, and we have to represent them for different things, but mostly helping them stay compliant, helping them learn the different legal waters and how to navigate those. And so that is a really good feeling, because we're a small business ourselves. So we're like your small business's favorite small business.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you've had as a small business in growing your business?
I think it would be the same as most, just constantly working to have the playing field even with regard to funding, resources, and access to things like that. We've been blessed in a lot of ways as far as just being focused enough to kind of navigate that. But we have the same fights that other businesses have. We have to overcome those as well. And then being women in a male-dominated profession, quite obviously, there's just a lot of prejudice that exists. But I think that through our work, more so than talking, through our work, we prove ourselves that way.
Gotcha.
And when we have interns or law students to come over, we encourage them to do the same.
Gotcha. Good. And what about you? What have been some of your biggest challenges in growing your business?
So I started Focus Point in 2010, and I was licensed in the behavioral health sector as Focus Point Behavioral Health in 2016. It was a challenge for me because the area where I have my corporate office is a very rural area in Maryland. And at that time, I was the only minority in business. And I was known as a come here, not a from here, because Baltimore was on the other side of the bridge. So I don't call them competitors. The other individuals that we do the same thing, they looked me up and they said, "Oh, you just got licensed. You just entered your business in 2016. Well, no. I did my research on every other provider in the area, and a good portion of them, I had been in business longer than they had. I just entered the behavioral health sector as a business in 2016. So it was a challenge for me. My office is right next door to parole and probation. And, you thought that would have been a cakewalk because the clients would come right over. Mm-hmm. Well, I had a couple of my clients that were actually sanctioned for coming to me. And, of course, it was a hearing for the client, and basically the probation officer got a slap on the hand for that, because you're violating their civil rights. So I had a lot of those type of things that went on. So my thing was to keep my head down and do the work and show them. Right now I own the market share in that area. I have 3 locations in that rural area and obtaining more. So it's not impossible, but business is just what it is. It's not for the faint at heart. So it was a challenge for me. That was the first time I can say I have really been treated like I wasn't worthy ever in my life, and I had to deal with it.
Wow, that's deep. So how important is it to get involved with what's going on in the country, particularly in politics, not just at the national level, but statewide, countywide, locally?
I would say it's very important for me because since I'm in a rural area, a lot of my clients receive Medicaid. So we need to know what's going on in politics all the time. How is this going to affect the insurance, our payout from the state? So we always have to stay connected to what's going on. And to your comment before about people choosing Trump or a Republican because the money flows a lot better generally when a Republican is in office, I would say that is true. But again, you still have to look at the other factors of that individual.
Sure. quite obviously for us, we have to stay on top of the trends just to be able to advise per whatever is coming down the chute. We have to be able to understand the legislation, understand the legislative intent behind it, and that way when we do strategize and when we do make case plans for our clients, we can incorporate that into our analysis and to give them kind of a heads up, so to speak, of what that law is trying to do, what that legislative intent means for the outcome of their case, whatever it may be, or the outcome of the project that they're working on. And to further answer a question you mentioned earlier just about what are some of the challenges, I do think that as we were building our campus and as we were purchasing the lots, we have 3 contiguous lots together, we did experience, I think the biggest challenge that we had was just contractor woes. It was very difficult to find a contractor that we could count on. Also, being women again, who we could count on, and who would take care of the project with the same type of care and concern that we had. We went through some channels and some changes, and we went through some bad contractors, and eventually we got to a contractor who was able to help us to finish our project and was very strong in communication, and so that was very valuable to us because we wanted a strong finish, and we did get that.
Kissed a few frogs, huh? All right.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm so admire what you all are doing as entrepreneurs, as go-getters, as people that, like you just said earlier, a double minority, but also, seeing past that, moving past that, not allowing that to deter you, and also being involved in the community, which I feel is important. And that's why I admire also what Danette Davis and her team does, because she, provides this as an opportunity for people to participate and have events here and do things here in the community, and that's why she put this here. Muhammad Ali once said that your service to the people, your service to the community, is the rent that you pay while you're here on the earth. And I can go back to 2016. I used to have a nationally syndicated radio show, and I was talking to people about what was going on in the country, particularly with Donald Trump being the presumptive Republican nominee. He wasn't the Republican nominee at that time, but I kept telling people, that, he's strong. I mean, he has a strong chance of being the Republican nominee, and if he becomes the Republican nominee, then he has a 50-50 chance of being the president of the United States. And that was one of the, when we all woke up or realized that he was going to be the president, I don't know what everybody else was feeling like, but I immediately, had my stomach I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that this country wanted that. But I'm bringing this up for a reason. I'm talking about being involved in the community. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a business guy. I'm always focused on, trying to, generate wealth and take things to the next level financially for me and my family. But I was one of those people, they would come to me and be like, Jeff, when are you running for office? And I'd be like, I'm running from office. I ain't running for nothing. Because I knew the level of scrutiny. And I'm going somewhere with this because I think it's important as what we do as to why it's important to stay engaged, stay involved, care about what's happening to the masses. Because I said, I cannot allow this level of vitriol to come to my community, in my city. And I decided that I was going to run for office. I was like, God, you sure I should do this or whatever? But I prayed about it and I went for it. And the guy that was holding the seat at the time, who had asked me to run before, and I told him no 3 times, I said no. I came to him, I said, I really feel like, it's time. And I didn't really know what I was saying, but I knew what I was saying. I was like, I'm going to offer up myself for the betterment of the community. And I feel like, you know, if not me, then who? And you all could have the same mindset, you know, like you could have chosen to have an office in the Galleria, or you could chose to not build and try to be the best in those rural areas and try to help the people that we're helping. But I put my name out there for a year. Nobody filed a run against me, and so I was unopposed. And I walked into the seat as the elected council member of Missouri City, Texas. And that was in November of 2017. But I, too, endured Trump and ensured that we had policy decisions and things that were happening that were not going to be a detriment. And we survived 4 years of Trump, right? And so that's why when I say we've been here before, this ain't our first rodeo, we've seen this movie and how it ends, you know, it's going to be dark for a period of time, but it's up to us to get engaged and get involved and not run from, you know, offering ourselves up for the betterment of our community. So as a lawyer, as someone focused on the mental health community and your various aspects, I again applaud you all for what you're doing and just encourage you and everyone that's watching to do more, because, you know, if not us, then who? You know, I mean, we can always look for somebody else to come, but Superman ain't saving the day. He ain't coming. You know, he's not coming to save the day. It's not going to be, you know, and there's a whole lot of Lex Luthors and villains out there that are trying to negatively impact our community, and they're doing it by a lot of different means: legislation, decisions, policies. And if we tuck tail and run and don't stay engaged and stay involved, you know, not for us independently and individually, but for those that don't have the resources, don't have the knowledge, don't have the degrees, don't have the money, you know, we need to step up and offer up ourselves. So what more do you want to do for your community, not only from a business standpoint, but personally?
Just continue to serve and continue to educate. I feel like the education is invaluable. So if we can continue to educate on entrepreneurship, on startups, on, you know, proper filing practices, if we can continue to help the interns understand, you know, what's needed to kind of come out of the gate, I feel like that would be the what's more, just to continue to be that constant, continue to be that anchor. And even in times like this, when we have such uncertainty, remind them that there's a way to navigate this and bring the strength that's needed there.
Doctor?
I would like to continue working with young ladies in the mentor space, because there's so many children out here, or young ladies and young men, that don't have no direction. They think that everything they see on social media is what it is, not knowing that most of the time that's not what it is. This person may not be driving this type of car or have this type of clothes. They maybe rented or borrowed and things like that. But someone to give them a glimmer of hope, to say, hey, if I came from here and did this, you can do it too. You're no different than I am. Maybe you just need some direction. Maybe you don't have that at home. So let me help you. Let me come into your world and say, hey, why don't you think about these grades, or where you want to go to school, or what type of career you want. I think we really need to feed into the minds, bodies, and souls of our youth, because our youth, they're just lost out here, and they have no respect for human life. And that is sad, and it's dangerous, and it's so much black on black crime, or, you know, Latino on Latino crime, and it's just ridiculous. We already have a whole nother race that is trying to wipe us out by hook or crook. why are we doing this to each other? So they need to know more. If you don't choose to go to college or whatever, that's fine. Let's show them what else they can do with their time and their life to make them a better person and it's a better world that we're living in.
Good. So, Helen, how can people find out more about your company? You have a website?
We do. They can find us at www.danielwilliamslaw.com.
A little slower for those in the back.
www.danielwilliamslaw.com. We also are recently on Instagram, so they can find us there as well under Daniel Williams Law.
Who got y'all on Instagram? You or your partner?
My partner.
I'm just saying, you don't seem like the social media Instagram type. All right. Thank you for being with us today. All right. And Dr. Nicole Odom Hartnett, how can people find out more about your business?
So Focus Point is www.focuspointbh, as in behavioral health.com. So focuspointbh.com. It's on Instagram, Facebook. If you need to contact me, I am newly on social media because I'm not that girl. And talk to Nicole OH.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, let's give it up for our guests, y'all. Oh, y'all can do better than that. Give it up for our guests. Attorney Helen Daniel Holman and Dr. Nicole Odom Hartnett. I think we're going to toss it back over as we close on tonight. Thank you all so much. You've been a wonderful studio audience and viewers. Let's toss it back over to Danette Davis to close us out for the day.
All right.
God bless.
Boy, Jeff, 2025, it's going to be a different kind of year, right? All right. Now, a couple things we wanted to do in closing. As you know, Kay Davis in the community donated the George Floyd, a Conversation with George statue that's sitting in Tom Bass Park. And if you didn't know, now you know. But this is the 5th year, this is 5-year, the anniversary of his death. And the movement, though, that the death created. Because what we celebrate is the movement that happened after the whole world was watching and the whole world reacted, what have you. And we're saying that those things that did happen, that were, for the good or what have you, we want those things to continue happening. I'm excited because in this year in May, because all of it happened in May, we will be having a celebration and a 4-day hold event, partnering with Minnesota and some others around the country. Details will follow. And we're so excited because the county is going to partner with us. It's going to be a good event. And we know the rodeo is coming. When you talk about Houston, for all of you, hee-haw, got your hats on and things like that. We want to make sure that for those people that are coming to town, know that there are things that are going on. And for next week's show, we do know we've got Devin Wade and Chris Johnson with KTSU that will join Jeff. They're super podcasters. Of course, Jeff is the superist podcaster, but they do things in the community, and we'll have some conversations with them on next time. That's going to be the 28th. So we want to say thank you again for joining the Trending Tuesdays podcast. Thank you. All right.